Welcome, episode 2 of the Instagram Q&A. If it's your first time, my name's Andre. The Instagram handle is at Andres Charts. That is ONDRES, then charts, like trading charts. So I'm going to answer the questions that we got from Instagram, and let's just hop into it.
This question is from Rouge.I.ai. How do you implement interest rate differentials to trade?
It's really, really simple, actually. So you look at the interest rate differentials between the currency you're trading. So for instance, right now the US is between 5.25 or 5.5%. And I think it's the BOE, the Bank of England, is at a 5. So the interest rate differential is anywhere between 0.25% and 0.5%, which means anything in that means euro should drop, dollar should go bullish. However, it's not going to be in a straight line. You still have to follow price cycles, but it's literally that simple.
From Sky.sick. What do you mean by finding your edge?
Edge is deeply, deeply personal, meaning something that I could look at a chart and it just sticks out to me. And it's different for everybody. Like for me, I could look at a chart and I see liquidity like right then and there, and I can explain why price is moving, where it's moving, and where it might go. So that's part of my edge. So it's going to be what you uniquely see. So let's say you're in my group and we focus on specific prices. Now, part of our edge is that we know where the market's going to reject where it gets there. Now, that may not be enough. You may need to add a layer of confluence. Could be liquidity, could be a trend line, could be a trend line break, could be a moving average. It's whatever you naturally see, whatever just gives you that, oh, it's that simple kind of a thing.
Follow-up question from this person. Why are you so awesome, brother? Strong arm emoji, rolling on the floor laughing face.
Hey, God delivered it. I signed for it, I guess. Stole that from Family Guy.
Next question from Camus _Lucas _go _June _Lee. What do you think of order flow for futures?
I think it's a good tool if you can read it. Now, even with the futures market, everyone has access to order flow, and the failure rate is still 93 to 97%. So it's not the end all be all. I think there has to be an element of a trader that knows how to read a chart to kind of supplement that. Chris Story is a very good example of it. He uses order flow, but he can also read a chart like it's nobody's business. So there has to be an element of both because again, with order flow, all that data, traders still fail because not every transaction has to be recorded. And then there's spoofing that goes on in the futures market. So it's not as cracked up as everybody says it is because again, chances are whoever's telling you to trade futures isn't making any money anyway.
So the next question is from _Jamek_. How do you know the transaction cost?
You start out by measuring out the high, measuring out the low, right, of your daily and your weekly. And you're looking to see if the market can move higher or if it can move lower. If it can move, if it cannot move higher, it's too expensive, right? Because again, buyers can't, they typically don't buy off the top of the market, right? Now, you mark out the low of your range. And by range, I'm going to say a weekly high, weekly low. And if we can't move any lower, that means buyers see value and they see it as cheap. So simply mark out your range between a high and a low. And when the market gets at or near that high or that low, look at where it's rejecting. Now, the rejection, sometimes it's going to be a daily candle. Sometimes it's going to be a weekly candle. You just got to define what it is that you are waiting for you to trigger a trade. My best advice would be to wait for some sort of a breakout.
Next question from RJ_the blogger. What are the steps to be a profitable trader?
That's a really, really, really good question. I'll tell you my steps. Get scammed a couple times, right? I think that's kind of a rite of passage. And then you have to solve your emotional connection to money. You have to figure out why you're trading. A lot of times, if the reason for you trading is vague, like, oh, I want to be rich and wealthy, then those people typically don't make it. That's that. Now, the other part is you probably should learn how the market actually moves and how it actually operates. And you're not really going to find that on forums. You're not really going to find that on the internet. Because again, a lot of these guys are just here to make a quick buck and they're scamming. So again, that's one of those things that it just is what it is. So you have to battle through all of that stuff, right? And then your trading system. Your trading system should be based off of a framework that the market likes. Where's the market moving to? And you put yourself into that framework, meaning where do you fit inside the puzzle, right? There's this big puzzle with thousands of pieces, and all you need is your one little piece to profit from the market. Now, that's hard for people because most people say, just tell me when to get in, or I just want your system, or I don't know how to enter. That's cool and all, but that's not going to make you profitable. What you uniquely see, referencing another question, is what's going to make you profitable. So, step one, get scammed. Step two, figure out why you're trading. Don't be overly emotional. You have to solve that. And then step three, find a framework about the market that is not biased, very objective. And then two, figure out how you fit in that framework and then laugh all the way to the bank.
Next question from Shubi underscore do 21. This person has 3 questions. The first
Okay.
one is, how can one change his mental approach to trading?
Realize you can't control the market and realize you can do your best analysis. You can do your best prep. And you can still lose. And then you have to be okay with that. You have to be able to sleep at night. You have to be able to say, you know what, who cares? One of my mentors when I was in the working field, when I was in sales, he had an excellent moniker. Some will, some won't. So what next? It's trading, baby. You may win, you may lose. I don't care either way. You're only as good as your next trade. Um, so that's how you deal with that. That's how I deal with that, right? The answer for you may be a little bit different, but it's really understanding that I can do my best and I can still lose.
The second question is, what is the first few things that you look for when you analyze a fresh chart?
The trend. Okay, let me elaborate. That just came right out. Um, which way is my monthly going? Which way is my quarterly going? Which way is my weekly going? And from there, if I'm trending, ranging, reversing, or retracing. And then once I decide that, I know where I want to trade. That's kind of a simple approach.
And the final question, I'm going to paraphrase this one, but
Okay.
my day trading appears to be better than my swing trades. How can one improve his swing trades?
Patience. You grow into being a swing trader. So let's say for now you're an excellent day trader. You need to have your aha moments along the way of the day trading process. What happened with me was I was letting trades go too early and they were still go. And I had to figure out, okay, what do I need to see in order to hold the trade? That's step two. And then step three is actually following through with your trading plan, right? Like, say, for instance, I'm shorting the crap out of euro, but I'm shorting at the Asia high and I'm closing it at the last known New York low. But it keeps going to that monthly high or that monthly low or that quarterly low. You got to have a plan of, okay, I always say this to my members. If this happens, then I do that. If that happens, then I do this. So I need the market to break down levels, retest the levels, and the retest has to hold, meaning close above or beneath the levels in order to hold a trade. That's my if this happens, then I do that. Or if that happens, then I do this. So you have to define that what that is for you. And some people they hold the wrong trades when they're starting out. And that's because one, being a swing trader is somewhat attractive to a lot of people. Why? Because you sit on your ass and make money. But then they get in the way of their trade, meaning they mismanage their trade, close it too soon, take out too much profit due to fear. So it's a process that you literally have to go through. You cannot cheat it, but you also have to accept that you may not be a swing trader and you got to be okay with it. If you don't follow me on IG, you can simply leave a comment below and I'll answer it in the next video.
Okay, so the question is from at Katarina Taylor 2696. Hey Andre, why is it that when I let myself be, I enter some great trades with perfect entries and my market reading is good, But as soon as I try to define what it is I do exactly, and as soon as I try to put into words exactly what I'm looking for, everything goes horribly wrong. It's like I'm a chimp with a grande. To fix that, I have to step back for a little bit, block the outside noise and what others are doing with their charts. And whatever it is I'm subconsciously seeing comes back again until the cycle repeats.
I'm going to answer that with more of a theory. I think you are an instinctive person that probably carries on outside of your life and not just trading. And to some level, I'm that way too, right? Like there'll be times where people will say, "Hey, how do you do that?" And I'm just like, I don't know. I just react, right? Or I just know in the moment. So you're probably very instinctive, and then when you go to try to define it, it causes you to overthink. So I would say stay in your lane. You don't have to have an explanation for your excellence. You could just be excellent. You don't need anyone's stamp of approval or to even explain it to anyone. Um, there was a famous writer who never you know how some writers use templates and use skeletons, and the writer's name. He never used skeletons. He just sat at his desk, pulled out his pen, and started writing. And someone asked, "What's your process?" He says, "I don't know. I go off my gut." And I think that's what you're doing. So again, nothing wrong with that. Live in that truth, embrace it. If that's making you money, or if money's not your motivator, if that's what is kicking you into high performance, just live in it. You don't have to explain it to anybody. It's okay.
Okay. And here's the last question. Andre, why are you so handsome?
I'm so handsome because my wife says I'm handsome. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. That's a good answer. I think that's the politically correct answer. So that's a wrap on this episode. Thanks for all the comments. And I know some people are scared to speak up, and I hope that some of the questions that other people ask answer your question. But do me a favor, ask a question if you have a question. My wife always says, "Well, closed mouths don't get fed," and I'm just like, ugh, right. Anywho, ask your question. If you want to stay anonymous, let us know because we're reading off the IG handles as more of a acknowledgement and saying thanks for asking a question. But if you don't want your IG handle read, just say so. You may not want no Instagram stalkers. I get it. Make sure you drop us a like, give us a follow. You can follow me on IG at Andre's Charts. It's the same as the channel at. I think there's a link in the channel description. If there's not, I'll put one in there somewhere. And again, thanks for your time. Thanks for your questions. I truly appreciate the feedback.